have a number? Okay. So we're going to start 252, which is Kuf Chaf Vav 126b, starting with Achbar Shechetziv V'chulu in the brackets. A mouse that's half flesh and half dirt. So if someone touches the flesh, he becomes tamei. It's dead. We're talking about when it's dead, because it's the shrotzim are matama when they're dead. If someone touches the sheretz, the flesh part, so he's tamei. And if he touches the dirt part, then he's tar. Rabbi Yehuda says even someone that touches the dirt that's next to the flesh is also tamei. So I'm Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Rabbi Shua ben Levi, early Amiraim. He says, "V'hu," and that is only shehishvitz al pnei kulei. If it became flesh, became this sheretz, this creeping creature, along the whole thing. In other words, there's different ways of looking at this. There's different ways of this occurring. Let's say this is the head. It could be the back part is dirt, right? The head is coming out. That's what we were imagining probably. And the bottom, the tail, is like still mud. It's going to form into flesh. Or you could say that it's, I can't do this with this, or you could say that it's half, like this. The top part is flesh, and the bottom, this is Hishritz al Pnei Kula. This is along the whole thing. It's a different story. Right? So Rabbi Shua ben Levi says it needs to be that the whole thing is along the whole creature, there's flesh. And then you touch the dirt part. So you touch the dirt part, you're tamei. You touch the flesh part, you're tar. So ikad masni la seifa. Some people learn Rabbi Shua ben Levi differently. Some say Rabbi Shua ben Levi is qualifying what the seifa says, which is Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says afanigea ba'adama shekeneged basar tamei. Rabbi Yehuda says that even if you touch the dirt that's next to the flesh, you're also tamei. And on that, Amar Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Rabbi Shua ben Levi says, "V'hu sheshutz al pnei kulei." That's only if the entire creature had flesh all along it, then the dirt would be tamei. Okay, the Gemara explains, "Man demasni la reisha." If we learned it the first way, that when will a person be tamei? That's only if the entire thing is a creature, and he touches the flesh. Kolchkin Aseifa, for sure Rabbi Yehuda holds that as well. That he'll only be tamei if he touches the dirt, if the whole thing if it's a creature along the whole, if it is flesh along the whole creature. However, man demasni la seifa, but if Rabbi Shua ben Levi is referring only to the seifa, in Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, when will he be tamei if he touches the dirt? That's only if this creature has flesh all along it. So a reisha, but in the reisha, when he touches the actual flesh, it doesn't matter. Afagavdalei hishritz, even if it doesn't have flesh all along it, it still would be tamei if he touched the flesh, even if the flesh is only on one end. Okay, Tarabban.
So, I'm sorry. Are we talking about just a decomposing mouse, that half of it is decomposed into dirt? Or are we talking about some archaic concept of
Spontaneous generation?
Yeah, because it if you read it just to pshuto, it's talking about the rodent metamorphosed, or whatever the word is, into dirt, which is the natural process of if you start to bury an animal, go back a few weeks later, you see that there's nothing there except for maybe a little bit of its hide.
I imagine that it was the spontaneous generation one.
Why?
Because it's more provocative.
Definitely towards doctors.
This whole note here talks about what it is. Should I say?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
A mouse that's half flesh and half earth. It says post-Talmudic sages ranging from the Rambam to Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch have asserted that the sages' beliefs about the natural world were often derived from prevailing contemporary views. Their understanding of the natural world, including details that have halachic implications, is sometimes inconsistent with modern science. In the case of the creature that's discussed here, the sages may have heard tell of such a creature, or may have even themselves observed the rodent, which superficially appeared to have characteristics described in this passage. Some commentaries, Rashi, Meiri, understand that this creature was spontaneously generated from the earth. Spontaneous generation from inanimate matter is now discredited, but it was a widely accepted explanation of how creatures came into being, seemingly from nothing, well into the 19th century. Only with the advent of microscopes and the discovery of microscopic creatures and eggs was it rejected. Yosef Kaplan explains that the sages are referring to creatures that live in and around mud and accumulate a thick layer of mud on their lower bodies, giving the appearance of being made from mud.
Interesting. The last one. You like this last one? This
I like the whole rational explanation.
Uh-huh. The only other way of explaining this whole thing is that all of the studies they did on spontaneous generation, they did early studies, and then Louis Pasteur did with the bacteria in the water, and he did that what do you call those V covers that like loop. He made this loop on top so that none of the air could get in, and they saw that the water was clear afterwards. So the only way there is a way of explaining this even with those studies, and that is that those studies showed that they didn't find spontaneous generation. But not finding it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, right?
The only spontaneous generation is that done by Hashem. I rest my case.
Unless Hashem says so.
Okay. Taner Rabbanan. It was taught in a brisa. This is a very interesting brisa. It's a little bit complex also, so you follow along here. Mitoich shenem achbar. It says in the Torah, an achbar, a mouse. Shemeyani. I would understand. It says an achbar is one of the 8 creatures that if they die, they impart impurity. I would understand. Afilo achbar shabiyam, even a sea mouse. Apparently, there's a mouse in the sea. Sheshmay achbar. It's also called achbar. I would understand that one is also tummy because it says an achbar is tummy and this is an achbar, so it's tummy even though it lives in the sea. Vidinhu. Now, the vidinhu is actually in this brisa. Vidinhu. Normally, when you read vidinhu, is proving what we just said. Over here, vidinhu is telling me the opposite. It says no. Vidinhu. I really don't need a pasuk to disprove this. Why? Time bechulda, time ba'achbar. A chulda is one of the other, a weasel, I guess, is tamei. That's another one of the 8 creatures, and an achbar is tamei. Now let's compare the two. Ma chulda min hagadol al haaretz, just like a chulda is only on dry land. There's no such thing as a chulda, as the Gemara is going to say later, in the ocean. So achbar min hagadol al haaretz. Achbar can only be on dry land, so we don't need any pasuk to tell me any differently. The Gemara says, 1 second. Go away from this way of learning. You can do it a little differently. Yes, there is a comparison. The Torah made a chulda, a weasel, impure, and it also made a achbar impure. However, what do we want to compare here? Ma chulda kol sheshma chulda. Just like a chulda, anything that's called a chulda is considered a chulda, and it's going to give off tuma. Af achbar also by a mouse. Kol sheshma achbar. Afilo achbar shebayam. Because we have to know how to make the comparison. There is a comparison here. But which aspect do you want to compare? You want to compare that anything that a chulda is only on dry land, so therefore an achbar is only on dry land, or do you want to say a chulda, whatever is called a chulda is tamei, also an achbar, whatever is called an achbar is tamei, and the achbar in the sea is also called an achbar. Afilo achbar shebiyam sheshmei achbar. So because I have these two options, I need a pasuk to tell me what the halacha is. So Talmud Laimar al Haaretz. The pasuk says that creeps on the earth. On the earth means that it's only a achbar of the dry land, not an achbar. So it tells me the species. Al-Arz tells me the species.
So you're not metame to an achbar that
Shabiyam.
Nadin, the Shabiyam.
If somehow this achbar Shabiyam comes on dry land and dies,
You're cool.
well, I guess it would die automatically because it comes on dry land. If it's a type of fish, it needs to live in water. The Gemara now says, 1 second. I al-Aretz. If you're going to learn from al-Aretz, maybe al-Aretz is telling me something else. Yachal al-Aretz yitma. Maybe on the land it gives off tumah. However, yar liyam layitma. But if it goes into the sea, it won't become tummy. Maybe al-Aretz is telling me not that an achbar of the sea is tahar. It's telling me that an achbar of yabasha, a mouse of dry land, if it goes into the ocean and dies or swims or dies in the ocean, then it's not going to be tummy. You're swimming there. You touch it underwater. You'd be tahar if it's a mikveh.
Yeah,
But
I
if
was
you,
gonna say, the achbar went in the mikveh.
Yeah, I was going to say it's from the largest mikveh in the world.
so you were primed over here. So in the ocean, it's not going to give off tumah because it says only al aretz. The Gemara says no. Talmud leimar hashayretz kol makom shashayretz. Anywhere where it creeps. Hashayretz. It says, the pasuk says, "V'zelachem atamei hashayretz al aretz." So here it says, it didn't have to say hashayretz. It could have said b'sheretz al aretz. Okay. B'sheretz aretz. If it's just the species.
What's it,
So
some
it's going
kind of
to
crab?
tell me. I'm sorry?
Some kind of crab, maybe?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I didn't look into which things
The
they are.
pasuk in Vayikra, the pasuk actually says sheretz kol makom. Sheretz.
No. Pasuk says, "V'zelachem atamei." Anyone have the newer Gemara? No.
Wait, I had this.
In the art scroll.
Zelachem atamei b'sheretz hasheretz al haaretz
Good.
hachaled v'achbar v'hatzel v'elam.
So, "V'zelachem atamei." This will be for you the impure. B'sheretz hasheretz al haaretz. With the shrotzim that creep on the earth. So it didn't have to say hasheretz. Incredible.
Just press the button.
Okay, kol makom shasheretz. The Gemara now says, 1 second. Maybe that's not really what it's teaching. Maybe what hasheretz is telling me. We just said that hasheretz means that even if it's in the sea, it's going to be tamei. A mouse that's supposed to be on dry land that's in the sea and dies would be tamei. But maybe that's not what hasheretz is telling me. Hasheretz kol hamashretz yitma she'in mashretz lo yitma. Here, mashretz has a different meaning. Peru urvu v'shartzu ba'aretz v'yishritzu paru v'yishritzu. Paru v'yishritzu means to procreate. So here, maybe
Isn't that swarm?
we translate it as swarm, but here it's not translating as that. Only something that's going to procreate. Maybe it's from context. Kol hamashretz yitzma she'in mashretz lo yitzma.
But swarm would imply that it procreates in huge amounts.
Right. So maybe that's what it means. So oitzi achbar shechetzia basar v'chetzia adam she'in para v'rava. It's very clear. It's spontaneous generation. No, I don't see another way of learning it. The this maybe really it's excluding. The word hasheretz is excluding anything that doesn't come from. Does it mean that it doesn't come from a procreation, a mating, or it doesn't procreate afterwards? Maybe that's the way they'll understand it. I'm reading this that it doesn't come from procreation, but maybe the Rabbi Kapach would read this that it doesn't procreate afterwards because of the mud that's on it. That's what he said. That's a mud cake. That I don't know. It's a strange
Or
way of reading
if
the
it's
Gemara.
spontaneous generation, then it doesn't have the ability to.
Yeah, that's the way.
procreate.
That's the way. Okay, if you read this as spontaneous generation, I can the Gemara. I could read the Gemara like this. Okay, so but maybe the word hasheretz is coming to tell me that it's coming to exclude this mouse that's half flesh and half mud. And The Gemara now says Vidinhu. 1 second. You don't need a pasuk for that because Time b'chulda v'time b'achbar. We had a comparison before that says that a chulda, a weasel is tummy, and an achbar is tummy. Ma chulda kol sheshma chulda. Af achbar kol sheshma achbar. Avi achbar shechetzi basar v'chetzi adama. I would already tell me. It's not that I don't need a pasuk. I would tell me the pasuk tells me the opposite. That's what the dinhu is here. The pasuk tells me that or not the pasuk. The comparison tells me that an achbar that's half flesh and half mud should be tummy as well, because just like a chulda is tummy because it's called a chulda, so too an achbar is tummy because it's called an achbar. That would include the achbar that's half flesh and half mud because that's also called an achbar. We would give it some other name, but apparently in Hebrew it's called an achbar. And the Gemara says, or maybe not. Like kalchol aderachsu, machol de paravarava, achbar paravarava. Or maybe no. Maybe the comparison is different. A chulda has to procreate, so too an achbar has to procreate, and therefore this achbar is automatically out. So the Gemara says Talmud b'sheretz. So now I have an extra pasuk. This extra pasuk tells me that the achbar that's half and half is tummy. The achbar that's half and half is tummy. Hashayretz tells me that if it goes into the sea, it's tummy. And Al Aretz tells me that only the achbar of the yabasha is tummy. So we've excluded now the achbar shabiyam. That's what we're left with. We've excluded the sea mouse. We've included the dry land mouse that goes into the sea, that it would give off tuma from hashayretz, and we've also included the achbar that's half flesh and half meat, half flesh and half.
The only exclusion is the one in the yam.
In the yam, we've excluded that. Amalei ahumei de Rabbanan l'Rava. This rabbi tells to Rava, Ima b'sheretz lasuya achbar shechetzer basar v'chetzer v'adama. Maybe stick with that. B'sheretz is actually including the mouse that's half and half flesh and half dirt. So far, so good. Hashayretz, what is Hashayretz telling me? Kol shu shayretz. It's telling me anything that procreates. It is included. Vafilu achbar shabiyam. That's including the sea mouse. But I have al aretz. Al aretz just excluded that. Al aretz yitma yard liyam liyitma. Al aretz can tell me something else. Al aretz can tell me that the sea mouse and the land mouse will only give off tumah if they're on dry land. Maybe it's not excluding the species. Maybe it's excluding the location. Amalei, he says to him, once you've established that the sea is a place of tumah, because the sea mouse gives off tumah, malihacha. Usually it says malihacha, malihasan. What's the difference here or here? If it's in the sea or if it's in the dry land? You said that it's tummy, and how is this tummy? It's in the sea. It grows in the sea, and nevertheless, you're going to say that it only gives off tumah when it's on the dry land? He doesn't want to accept that. The Gemara now asks a new question. Okay, so this discussion of what we're going to do with al aretz and hashayretz and b'sheretz, all of those that we've taken care of. We go back to the original way of learning it. V'hai al aretz mi ba'ilei l'haitzi safik tumat safa. This term al aretz has already been used to teach me something else. He said that the creature that's creeping on the land gives off tumah. It says this on the land is teaching me something else. Normally we say any suffix tumah. Anytime there's a doubt, something is tumah, so we look at where the doubt originated. If it originated in Rishus HaRabim, then it's tahar. If it originated in Rishus HaYachid, then it's tamei. And we learn this from Saita. That when do we say a Saita woman is tamei? only in a private location. In a public location, we'd say that she's tar. Now here, we have a special halacha that in a private location, if it's in the sea, it's still tar. So, and where do we learn that from? Al haaretz, a private location on dry land, if there's a doubt, is tameh. But here, it's coming to exclude that if I have a tumah that's floating in the water, and it's a doubt, and it's a private location, it's still tar. Rabbi Yitzchak, the son of Avdimi, says, what are we asking here? We're asking that, what do you want to do with al haaretz? First, you use it to tell me that only a mouse of the dry land is tameh and not a mouse of the sea. Now we're saying that I used it already to teach me something else about Suffolk Tumah. Umar says Tarti al Aretz. It says twice al Aretz.
So there's one limit for each.
So one limit for each.
That's a question.
Yeah.
It says a couple lines before this Macher, the Shavise Layam Makom Tuma, that the sea is a location of Tuma.
Right.
So how is that if we're able to toivel in the sea and become tar? You can't toivel on land.
Right.
I mean, you can't toivel just by being on land and become tar.
Right.
But the sea it can act like a mikveh.
Right. So what it means, the Shavisi Liyam Makam Tumah means, this rabbi was suggesting that a mouse of the sea should give off Tumah. And he says, but it should only give off Tumah on the dry land. Okay. So Rava was responding to him, if you say that the sea is a place where something becomes Tameh, the mouse is Tameh there, why is it only making Tumah, imparting Tumah on the dry land? That's what he's asking. He's not suggesting that the sea is not a mikveh. He's just saying that why should we say that a sea mouse is Tameh, but it only gives off the Tumah in the dry land? That's his... don't read into it more than what he's referring to, what Rav is referring to, which is the sea. If you're going to say the sea mouse is Tameh, so why are you not making it Tameh where it lives? That's what he was saying.
What about like the lobsters and crabs and all those things? Then are they tummy at all?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, just curious.
It's Sheretz Hamayim.
Well, they're not listed in
We
the
didn't
eight.
say
They're
we
not
didn't
listed
say
in the eight,
anything
right?
from the sea that's tummy that dies as tummy. Right.
Yeah, I never heard that, but it just
Right.
came to me.
Tanur Rabbanan. The rabbis taught in the Braisa. Hatzav lemineo. The lizard. Lahavi ha'arvad. It's coming to include this arvad. What's an arvad? I don't know.
It's a type of snake.
Type of snake. Apparently, it bites and it kills.
Oh, it's poisonous.
Yeah. It's worse than a raccoon. Okay. V'chein ha'nefilim v'salamandra. Nefilim, I don't know what that is.
You live with like the giants, no?
It's Rashi says it's some sort of a lizard as well. However, the salamandra is this very interesting creature that is formed from the fire of myrtle wood through witchcraft. And if someone takes the blood of it and puts it on,
I heard
smears it
they're
on.
feeling mermaids.
Who says?
I went
What is-
somewhere else. No, not
Oh,
here, but
not in the
somewhere
eye.
else it mentioned.
You want to say that? What was
Rashi.
translation there? I didn't translate.
Over
I think that's
here,
in Bechira somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah.
Here it says if someone puts from its blood on his skin, so he won't get burnt by fire.
These are lizards.
I read in this book, they have by the mid-ocean ridge, there's volcanoes. There's very hot water vents underneath the ocean. And near these hot water vents, they have these bacterias that are able to live in this tremendous heat. And what's it called? Something phylix or whatever. But thermophilic, something. Whatever. They live by this heat. So what the scientists do is they study these creatures, and they get the information from how they're able to do this, to be able to make suits for firemen. They should be able to withstand the heat. Every creature is a library of information. So here it's the salamandra is something that's probably some sort of creature like that it lives near these very hot water things.
It's not your little orange one that's up in the Catskills.
Actually, it says it's formed from the fire,
With
so
a
it's
little
not.
colored
What I'm saying is
dot.
not accurate. But this other piece that if you take from its blood and you smear it on you, you won't be affected by fire. That could be something similar. Kushayir Rabbi Akiva Magil a pasuk zeh. When Rabbi Akiva would reach this pasuk, I guess Hatzah, Aimer Marabba Masech Hashem. He would say how great are the actions of Hashem. How wondrous. Manifold. You have these creatures that grow in the sea, which is the salamandra. And you have the ones that grow on the dry land. Shebayam, those that are in the sea, if they would come up to the dry land, Miyad Mesis, they would die instantly. Shabiyabasha, those that of the dry land, if they go into the sea, Miyad Mesis, they would die instantly. You also have creatures that grow in fire, and you have creatures that grow in air. Sheba'ar, those that grow in the air. I'm sorry, Sheba'ar, those that grow in the fire. If they go into the air, Miyad Mesis, they die. Is that true? Shabavir, I guess those other creatures in the air, if they go into the fire, Miyad Mesis. Therefore, Marab Masach Hashem, how manifold is the creations of Hashem. Tana Rabbanan. The rabbis taught in the Bais, Kol sheyesh bayabasha yesh bayam chutz min achulda. I remember from the Rebbe's notebooks, he had a talk on this, and I didn't get a chance to look it up. But everything that's in the sea is in the dry land. Everything that's in the dry land is in the sea, except for a weasel. There's no weasel in the. There's a horse, a seahorse. There's cows, or all that.
Lionfish.
Yeah.
Tiger, shark.
Seahorse.
We play this game all day.
Jewfish.
Yeah.
Swordfish. Okay, you have everything over there.
Home run.
Caviar.
And we can do it all
Sheep's
day.
head.
So, except
Say
for
Jewfish, I'd say caviar.
Sheep's head fish,
interesting.
which some of them is kosher and it tastes like pig.
Oh, maybe that's the shibuta.
What's that?
They call it
Maybe
sheep's
that's the
head.
shibuta.
And they sell it in Eily. One restaurant has it, I think.
Clownfish.
We could stop playing.
Catfish. Amar Rab Zera.
Catfish hunter? No, go.
Rab Zera says, Mikra, where do you see this? It says, Hazinu kol yoshvei chalad. How does this tell me? Kol yoshvei chalad means all that dwell on the dry land. Listen, all that dwell on the dry land. So that tells me, that the chulda
It's only
is only on dry land. Very good. Amar Rav Huna B'Rei Rav Yeshua. Rav Huna, the son of Rabbi Yeshua, says this is like in the time of Rav Papa, student of Rava's era. Divri denarish. These creatures, these beavers, it sounds like Bivri, beavers, right? Denarish of the city Narish, Eina Mina Yishuv. They're not Mina Yishuv. That means they're not from the dry land. They grow in the sea, and therefore, I guess they don't give off tumah. Amar Rav Papa says b'shamta narish. Narish should be excommunicated, or they are excommunicated. Maybe they're all wicked. Tarbe, the fat, mashche, the hide, valisei, and the tail. That's an expression for the young, the old, and the middle. They're all of them are wicked.
But the beaver? What most
Oh,
cats
the
are
city.
made from?
The
Beavers.
city. The city. I don't know. It's like going from beavers to people. I don't know.
It's like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Eretz, Shimi Dvar Hashem. listen to the word of God. Amar Rav Papa, Layav Narish Shmaya Dvar Hashem. Rav Papa says that this is referring to Narish because Narish.
Is that where we get an Irish guide?
Maybe. I don't know. Narish doesn't listen to God. They need to listen to God. Rav Gidl Amarav. Rav Gidl says in the name of Rav, Nashar Nashkech. If someone from Narish kisses you, Mani Kachech, count your molars.
That's funny.
Descendants of Lava.
Nahar Pekuda Lavech. If you are accompanied by someone from Nahar Pekoid, Miglima Shapira de Chazi Alach. That's because he saw your nice shirt and he wants to take it and he's following you.
Where are we going with this, Rabbi?
I don't know.
Hang in there, parrots. Hang in there.
I don't know.
We're getting there.
It's interesting. This reminds me, that last parak in Kedushin where it talks about it just goes through the gossip of all old stuff. Okay, Pumpadisa Lavich. If someone from Pumpadisa accompanies you, Ashna Yishpizich, you should change your location where you're staying because he probably wants to steal from you. So you don't want him to know your address.
Except for the Yeshiva Bahar.
Parrots, these are places to avoid.
Uh-huh.
Make note.
X is going to tell you, don't fly on the 11th.
Narish and
Interesting.
These
Never
are
heard
Jewish
that?
centers in Bubble.
Wow.
So,
The Jewish centers.
on September.
No,
Amar Rav
generally.
Huna, Amar Rav
Flying
Huna
on
bar
the-
Turta. Rav Huna bar Turta says, Pam achas halachti levad. There was one time I went to Vad. Apparently that's another city. And they were wicked people in Vad, and they would crossbreed.
Huh?
They would
Experimental crossbreed.
they were genetically modifying.
Oh, the animals.
And actually, this would be a source against this. This would be like a don't let those Christians get a hold of this Gemara. You know how they're against changing. So Rav Huna bar Turta goes to Vad. V'risi nachashu karach alatzav. He sees a snake that's surrounding a lizard. Liyamim, after a few days, yatsa arvad mibinayim, an arvad comes out. An arvad was this very dangerous creature that bites and kills. Shabasi lefnei Reb Shimon HaChassid, when I came to Reb Shimon HaChassid, Amarli, he said, pencil here. You have a pencil here? I'm not familiar with Reb Shimon HaChassid. I want to just... He said to me, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, Heimiviu beri yashlei brasi ba'ilami. They created a creature that I didn't create. So Afani Yavi Aleim Bria